Recording started. All right, guys and gals, this is one of my favorite clients. I have many favorite clients, but this is one of them. And this is also someone that has implemented the strategies that we teach very well. I think he's watched our course more times than I have. And just really made sure that he was able to dial things in. And he's done a lot of things just in the right order. So it's excited to have Aaron Ross here on and introduce him to the group and just let him share a little bit of what he's done to succeed. But hello, Aaron.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for being here. Yeah, I really am excited. Every call I feel like we have it's like your gut is telling you the right direction. And I think we're oftentimes like I can be like, here's a video that confirms exactly what you're thinking. So it's always just so great. And I think that it's really just a matter of you trusting the processes so well, and kind of just working through it and having some successes, but also like a few goose eggs and continuing to go
Yeah.
and realize like that's just kind of part of it. And just been a great example, very encouraging for us. So I want to say
Yeah,
thank you.
it's been a definitely a big journey. I think we've been talking for a while now. And so
Yeah,
you kind
it's been a bit.
yeah,
It's been a
it's been
bit.
good. It's been good. It's been good.
Um, so I have some questions that I kind of want to just go through if you're up for it. I'm gonna pull them up on my phone so I don't butcher them. Um, but really these questions are designed to kind of there might be some reflective questions as well, but like kind of where were you? What were you looking for? What are some of the good things that happened? What are some of the roadblocks? And then like what's going on now?
Yeah,
And
cool.
just want to kind of go through some of that. So I guess to start, what was the problem that you were having that made you click on that ad the very first time and get on the call with us?
Yeah, it's a good question. I was actually thinking, I was like, I knew she's probably gonna ask me about this, so I better think about it beforehand. So I was in our second roofing season of our business. So we just had started and kind of like started in the summer of 2022 and then 2023 or wait no wait sorry
2022.
yeah, at the end of 2022 I reached out to you guys and said
Oh no, it was 2023 that you reached out to us. Sorry.
yes, yeah, sorry. That's like it's a blur, it's
October.
crazy.
It was October.
October, yeah. And where I was we had a pretty good 2023 so far. Like we had hit some goals, but I had a series of unfortunate and fortunate events happen kind of all at once. So we had like a couple key employees pass away. Well, one passed away, and then that kind of like chain reacted through the company. He didn't die like do anything for us, like roofing stuff. He just had a heart attack and passed away, which was a huge like hit to us, like as like a company. It's kind of like a family
For
vibe
many
in
reasons.
our
Yeah.
company. And then so that was like our whole repair division kind of crumbled. And then I broke my foot and we had a baby, our first baby, all kind of like in 1 month. And so we had all this momentum kind of going into the summer, and then we got towards the end of the summer and just plummeted. Like we didn't sell a single thing in July, single thing in August. And I was kind of like, man, like I didn't realize how fragile my company was with just me. Like it was like really relying on me to be
Yeah.
there, you know. So I started looking into things that would help my company become less reliant on me and more like its own little organism, you know. So that's how I. So I saw your ad, and I was like, "Oh, I'll call this guy. Maybe let's get some free advice at the very
Yeah.
least," you know.
If I
So
recall, you were like, I was on the Zoom. I was like, I'm pretty sure this guy's a legit lead. It's not just some random person who filled out information.
yeah,
I called you and then oh yeah, I'm driving. Like, can we just get started here?
I'm always
but
driving when you call me, I feel like.
we spoke for like, I don't, it was, we had a long call.
We
Uh,
did. Yeah.
and I remember we just covered a lot. We kind of went
Yeah.
through a lot of what we do, but just a lot of background, some common ground that we found is good.
Yeah.
Um,
The best thing you can do when you're in a bad situation is just be humble and try to find help. Like that, like that's like what I've learned through this whole journey has been like it's okay to not be the expert, you know, like and just to admit that you need help. You know, there's plenty of people who are just good people who are there to help you. So yeah.
you
So I'm
said
glad I
something, you said something recently on a call similar that like really has stuck with me, to be honest. Um, because I was like, you know, that's a pretty powerful statement. I don't even know if you realize you said it, but you said, hey, one of my superpowers is the ability to ask for help when I need help.
yeah, 100%.
And that
Yeah.
honestly for me was like, that's a one very humble thing to say, especially for someone who like is out there succeeding. And
Mhm.
two, it just was, there's some reflection involved. And
Yeah.
when have I not asked for help? When have I? Um,
Yeah.
have one of the most helpful people ever in my life, Elizabeth. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Have some,
I feel like like really really successful people. Like I'm lucky. I've been really fortunate to like be around some like crazy heavy hitting dudes making more money than I can imagine, and just like talking to them and picking their brain. And like all of them, like they're always like kind of contribute their success to the team and the people around them. You know, it's like I have a mentor, and he always tells me it's not the what or like the when, but who. It's the who. Like who is going to do that for you? You know, like that's like when you have a big problem. And so I've always been like, oh yeah, this might be a who problem, not a what problem. You know, so but yeah.
so to make sure I got it right and to kind of recap your answer to the question, the initial question was, what was the problem? The problem was you had a good year until
Yeah,
you had a series of very rough things that would affect any business owner. And it made you realize, like, when you were a little bit out for the count, weren't able to give as much focus to the business kind of just stopped. And that
yeah,
was where you're like, oh, shoot, I need to figure out something here. Um, Next question is, what did the frustration feel like as you were trying to solve it? Because you said you kind of realized that in July, yet you and I didn't really talk until October. So
yeah.
what was going on?
Well, it's kind of like you first have to realize that you don't know anything. Like it's like my what's it called? Like there's like a term for it, but like I thought I knew everything until I realized I didn't, and then I
You
was like
don't
a
know what
kind
you
of like
don't know.
yeah, and then I like a journey of just like how bad I had it, you know, like kind of just the reality of everything going around me. And then when it sunk in, it was probably
Oh,
September when my
not
daughter
all
was
unfortunate events. Sorry, then. I said a
the
series of
daughter. The
one
daughter
great
was a
event.
cherry on top in a good way. Like it was like
Yeah.
all this bad stuff happened, and then my daughter was born, and it was like this is awesome. But I really like was motivated by that happening to like get my shit together, you know. And so that was you know when I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have like an epiphany when she was born. Like
Sure.
some people have like a big moment, but for me, it was like just like okay, well, like I got to make sure I got my stuff together for this little child I'm taking care of now, you
Mhm.
know, and it just took a couple months for it to sink in, kind of like where I was, and I don't think I was in dire straits, like or anything like that. It wasn't like I wasn't like desperate, but I just was like, okay, I know I need to do something, like just make a change or have somebody like just give me a leg up, you know. So
So as you were trying to work through it, it was mostly like, well, we're okay. We have some cash in the bank,
yeah,
but we gotta figure this out at some point. So
yeah,
I guess the next question was, first of all, how many people did you talk to outside before me? Like, were there a good amount of
yeah,
conversations you had?
a lot.
Yeah.
I think I probably, I mean, I met with like you think of any major consulting, sales, marketing, whatever it was that are in our industry, talk to them. So like the Adam Bensmans, those people, like I scheduled a call with all those guys, and I wasn't really actually I honestly wasn't serious about buying anything. I just was like, these guys know these guys talk to more people like me than I'm in the bubble. So like, how
Yeah.
do I get out of the bubble and kind of get a different perspective? Is what I was trying to gain by talking to everybody.
Hmm.
So
So, easy next question. You paid the same day we spoke
yeah,
to get started. So, and that was the first time we did speak. We actually do a two call process now. At the time, we were doing a one call process. Uh, and I let people meet Elizabeth, who everyone likes more first, and then they come to me. It works out much better.
yeah, the
But
1-2 punch.
but the what was different about us? Like what was it that actually stood out? I mean, obviously, once you're on the inside, your answer maybe changed a little, but when you got started, what was it that
I'm not a really like highly intuitive person, so my I go off gut feelings a lot, and it's probably like I'm not the most organized person, right? So I mean, I think a lot of people, a lot of us roofing company owners can agree,
resonate
like
with that from?
we're very similar. And so like I kind of go off of like my value, my personal values. And so like the thing I value more than anything else is authenticity and just being genuine. Like I'm a very blunt person. So I'll like my guys, like they know when maybe they mess up or maybe when they're doing really good. Like nobody ever wonders what I'm thinking about them or whatever. So when I met Brad and Elizabeth, I felt like they were very authentic. They weren't pretending to be something they weren't, and they weren't promising me a bunch of stuff that wasn't going to happen, because if I had, I feel like from all the salespeople we've hired, like all the interviews to the consulting calls to all this stuff, there's just everybody promises something, like talk to an SEO company, we'll get you on the first page of whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. Like after what I spent $100,000,
Yeah.
and so when I met you guys, it just felt like cool. These guys are not like they're not yanking my chain. They're honest and like they're real people, which I like. So yeah, that was the main reason. I was like, okay, I really truly feel like they care about what they're talking about. They're not just trying to extract money from me.
I appreciate that. And to speak into that a little bit, I both Elizabeth and I came from the agency world, and neither of us had like crazy guarantees or anything within it, but it is it's such a difficult thing to tell someone you're for sure going to get results because there's just no way. And that's part of how we really worked through and workshopped how we even wanted to go to market. I mean, the strategies were there. I've had these strategies in my head in some capacity for a long time and kind of understood the concepts. As we started the business, it was more about organizing it into a way that makes sense for other people pretty quickly. And then also everything set up to where we can actually help with implementation. But I wanted to make sure I want them to understand the process at least at a high level enough to where they can tell me yes or no. The psychology behind this works. I've experienced this working in certain ways. Like I've experienced getting called over by a neighbor. I've experienced how much better referrals are than that. And so I really wanted to organize the conversation like that. So, and it's because there's so much out there that is so just like fuzzy. Everyone, like they're selling you like this cloud of fog. And
Right.
I think that while it's difficult to like create a lot of tangibility sometimes, I also think that having like a really strong baseline of like this is what the goal is, this is how we're going to do it, there's still some gaps and blanks that we're going to need to fill in, and that'll lead me to the next question. But also, overall, like, if you get the concept, if you agree with the basic premise of it, then it's really just a matter of like, can we work well together to implement it? And once it's implemented, you're going to see pretty quickly if it's working or not.
I want to add one thing too.
Please.
Part of your solution, it wasn't just how like authentic and genuine you guys were, but it was also like I wasn't looking for someone to do it for me. I really like I realized that it was like I was in the situation because I didn't know a lot of the things I needed to know and I wanted to learn, you know. So like once I realized that and kind of heard your, you know, your product in a sense, I was like, okay, cool. Like I like teach a man to fish kind of a program. And I like that a lot more. And then some of the like things that saved me a lot of time were like you guys getting the like the templates for Facebook and all these other things together. Like I have a graphic design background, so like I was like, yeah, I can always do something like that, but it's gonna take me a couple hours versus you know someone who's like a professional, if you know maybe a couple minutes to make something like that, and I'd just rather compress the time, you know, and then so that was a big perk for me.
When you signed on, this wasn't like the program has changed names. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah,
So
I've
it's
noticed. I noticed the like it like the progression. You and Elizabeth's progression. Like I haven't really said much. I've just been like, huh, this is different. Like it's good. It's great. Like it's like you guys are growing, so it's kind of cool to be a part of it.
I
You know.
appreciate it. We're happy that you were there. It's called Fast Forward now, though. And it's
Oh
because of that's like the what you signed up for. There's a few changes, but it's
yeah,
Fast Forward. And the reason is because we recognize, hey, a lot of this stuff, like you could get our free PDF and read through it and have a decent idea of where to go with it. With that said, you're doing a million things. You're running a business. Our goal is to help you skip some of the trial and error and just get it done right the first time, and then continue working with just help you avoid all the timely obstacles so that we can keep you on the right path. So that went very well in line with kind of our thought on why we even named it that.
it's great.
Um, cool. So the next question is, and I maybe even you can start with times where you were like, where things weren't moving as fast as you want. Like, feel free to be open about that, but
Yeah,
take us to the moment. You can kind of walk us there, but the end destination of this question is take us to the moment when you realize like this actually was working and this actually was solving the problem that you had early on when you first came to us in October.
right. So met you, talked to you guys on the phone. We did like like a little bit of consulting and kind of like some digging into what you did. My partner, my business partner, and I, we both were like, let's just do it. We have the budget for it. Let's just go ahead and pull the trigger. Um, like we'll get value out of it for sure. You know. Fast forward, like we're in October, so and I have a new baby. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn as much as I can. And our game plan was we're gonna just start new. Like 2024 is a new year for us. So like let's cut some of the dead weight out and start focusing on like how to build our business along like these principles. So we were in like a really moldable spot, I think, which was good for us. But we were also like in a like it was kind of slow, like good growth is usually a little bit slower, more stable. So I wasn't like trying to rush and like cram everything in at once. Like I think I don't know most people. I don't know what most people do, but I can imagine either people just don't do anything, like they just like take the course, they don't implement it, or they try to implement it too quickly. But what I was like, my focus from the like during the winter time really was okay. Like let me understand the concepts. Let me figure out how I can build a foundation around these things so they become just like part of the company. and also like really prepare my company for the next season. It was kind of where I
Mhm.
was trying to kind of like build up to that, you know. And so I tried everything. I went everything by the book, by like the book of Brad. I followed every step, you know, all the commandments. And I
Awesome.
saw definitely like the referral thing was huge for me. Some of the like the Trojan horse campaign that really actually helped me. We had a pretty really good December. It was really warm. I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio. Um, and like it's weird. We're in a river valley, so we have a really like kind of off and on climate. So in the wintertime, like it could be really cold and snowy, or we could be 70 degrees, and it can change from week to week. So we luckily had a really mild winter, and we had a great December, and I can attribute a lot of that to the Trojan horse campaign, doing trying to like dig up like old referrals from past customers, things like that. The thing that really hurt and didn't work was trying to open up new neighborhoods because I come from like
I
I used to
remember
work.
that.
Yeah, like that was I mean it's not that it doesn't work. So I'll say this. Preface, my sales guys, they're closing door knocking right now. It takes it's always hard. It's always harder than it sounds. So like one of my guys just sold a roof today off of a door knock. Like, you know, and we're all in different markets. So like insurance might be bigger in some places than others. We're in a river valley, so the storms kind of go south or north of us. We're really kind of in the middle. Um, and like Elizabeth's just north of me, and her area gets destroyed by weather like every year. And so, but like Cincinnati just kind of he doesn't get his much. So anyway, I I realized that like okay, these things that we're learning, like it's not that they don't work. It's just that I have to take what I'm learning and really implement it into like kind of like mold it to my what I'm doing, like what my area is like, you know. So nothing's like it's it's you have to critically think about everything
Yeah.
that you do, you know. So a lot of like the first through the winter and then early spring was just kind of trial and error and figuring it out. And so the nice thing is Brad was you were really helpful with some of me like kind of testing the waters. I got to talk to you and like bounce stuff off you like, am I doing this right, you know? And if I was, and I just assumed okay, well I have to tweak it so it fits my market. So yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I try to stress and say, especially in the weekly live trainings, like today when I'm doing a training, it's like the concepts are what I want you to become obsessed with.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think is difficult sometimes because I think we all want like this perfect exact roadmap. Yet each one of us have different staff, we have different financial situations, we have different markets, different skill sets, and all of these things, all the strategies, they really do work at some level, right? Like there's nothing that just doesn't work that I teach. If it didn't work, then I wouldn't teach it. But there are things that are going to work to varying degrees, and some markets, one piece of it is going to be more effective than the other. And it's the concepts that I really like think if you can focus on the concepts. Zach is watching this. He's one of our clients. He's in Florida. He has a real estate background. And like it hasn't 100% launched yet, but what he's doing is implementing all these same concepts, except basically having some realtors do some stuff, which is really cool. And
It's
they're
cool.
doing kind of some of the same compounding stuff for him. So he's like has two basically referrals, and it's crazy actually. But the point is that I'm making is just the concepts. How can we turn one into two? How can we do that in as many different places as possible? And what does it look like in your market? And let's talk through it. Let's figure it out and trial and error. Like I don't ever want someone to think, I will never say I have the only way of doing something. I have what I believe is the most universal description of a strategy. And there will be things that I think can always be worked on, but that's good. So take me to January, because January, I think, was a pretty interesting month for you. Uh, and
Yeah.
I want to understand, like, and if you're up for it, walk through some numbers since I know you're just getting
Yeah.
started then and we're here now. Like, tell me about January.
So, like just to like kind of like preface a little bit before January and like
Sure.
when I met Brad, I realized that like what like having a baby and all that kind of made me realize like okay, I put my all into 2023, you know, and I did it. I really feel like I did as like my best, you know. And now with the baby, and I've also have a wife who's in school, um, like she's in clinicals right now for nursing. I realized that what I did last year, it's going to be really hard to replicate that again, with me becoming less and less like available. And
Hmm.
time was a huge resource, and energy was a resource that I was going to have less of this year.
Yeah.
And so I went into 2024 thinking, okay, I need to learn how to scale. I need to really focus on scaling and training. Um, so I'm taking the concepts that I'm learning from Brad, and I'm going to hire and recruit and then train them on how to do the same things. So becoming like a master at what Brad's teaching was like kind of my main goal in the wintertime. Fast forward to January, we started like kind of like pre-hiring for February, and at like the beginning, end of February time, because we had a home and garden show. And so in January, so in 2023, we did like 1.1 million, ish, somewhere around there, like around a million. Um, and that's like our first full year. Like really, like we started the company the year before that in like July, so like end of the summer, pretty much. You know,
Mhm.
it's a great time to start roofing companies at the end of the summer.
Yeah.
um, but coming into 2024, I'm like, okay, well, we need to have some manpower. Um, and so January came around. I was still implementing what Brad was talking about, and in January we did 280,000 in like the worst month of the year for us. So we like
In Cincinnati, it was
yeah,
a cold
like
market.
I think in January like we installed 280,000, like not just sold, like installed. We had like one day we had like 5 installs in one day, uh, and that was I will attribute it to really good networking and really good rate, like great referrals. Um, there's a neighborhood in our area. Like every city has a neighborhood. It's like the big bucks, and
Hmm.
we tapped into that neighborhood and with mailers, with door hangers, with everything. I mean, we really captured that neighborhood. So we had a freaking fantastic January. It set
Yeah.
us on a good trend. So and then during that time, we were just interviewing salespeople, and like a lot of the salespeople that we hired, they wanted to work for us because they liked this idea, this system that we had. You know, this I don't know what it's called now, but
The system works. No, I mean, it's the
yeah,
process, infrastructure.
yeah. Because that was like kind of like my pitch, like because I was like a business owner, like we're selling we're selling our company to the people who are going to work for us. So you know, and like getting people to buy into, you know, all my reps are 100% commission. So I have to convince them that I'm the roofing out of the 100 roofing companies in Cincinnati, I'm the one to work for, you know? And so having a system and having a process and talking about it and being excited about it really like influenced all the guys who work for me now, you know? So we hired 6 guys in January. Um, 2 of them don't work for us anymore, which is great. I mean, that's good. It's a good thing. You
Yeah.
know, if you're not like weeding them out, then you
Yeah.
probably have some subs.
Especially people hang on to commission only sales reps for a while. So
Yeah, right. I don't
Early
like,
on, you said even like maybe it was December, but you're like, if they're not cutting it, I'm getting rid of them so
yeah,
quick because
yeah,
you're like, I want to impact people. And if
yeah,
these people are going to come in and then half-ass anything, then I'm not going to, they're not going to be at my company, which is
yeah.
a unique attitude. It's a good attitude. It's the right one. But a lot of people are like, oh, well, they're commission only. Well,
In 2023, we had 3 sales reps, and I did like 800 grand in sales, and they did like the rest. And I'm like, never again. It hurts the culture. It just is bad. It's bad business to have failing employees. Like sales guys, they have families, they have dreams, and you drag them along, or you just let them like fizzle out. It's just bad. It's like silent firing, or
yeah,
quiet firing, whatever it is. I hate that. So like, I at the end of the summer in 2023, I fired everyone. Like it was just me, my partner, and my production manager. 3 guys and me. So, or three, yeah, three, including me, myself. So when we got into 2024, it was like I want to hire some killers, some people who are like willing to learn. And I invest. So we did crazy numbers, and for us at least, I mean, there's bigger fish in the sea, but for us, it was our second true year. Like June will be 2 years of our company being in existence.
yeah,
So in January, we recruited, we got people ready to go. And then in February, we did a whole month of training. And I didn't sell a single thing. Like I didn't go, I just only ran appointments that called in. We didn't do any door knocking really, like a little bit, but not much. And then we just focused on training. And I just taught them everything from October, from what I've learned from October to then. So yeah, so that's kind of like the fast forward. That's some of the numbers.
yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing. And that's, I think that one, it's a testament to just implementing the right things and focusing and keeping your head down. And I think also just having the discernment of like what you want, like the clarity. And that is in and of itself is hard. I mean, I'm a business owner and everyone on this call is sometimes even just saying what you want and like casting your vision is tough. So
yeah,
saying, hey, I know what I had, I know what I want, I'm going to commit to it, and I'm going to make sure that the right people on the team come in who also are working on this stuff and who are interested in uh, getting the right things. And just to kind of tack onto something that you said, I think is it's exciting for me to hear, just to be honest, is you said like it was a recruiting piece talking about the infrastructure, talking about the
yeah,
systems, the process. And that's something that it's easy to see or easy to think, oh, man, they don't want to be managed. They don't want to be told what to do. And that might be the case if you've had salespeople just there for a long time who don't want a bunch of new rules. But when you're recruiting people, and I think even if you have a few salespeople that are kind of sticks in the mud, not really willing to implement, one of the best things you can do is recruit a couple new ones with the same, hey, we have this infrastructure, we have this, and then maybe shelter them a little bit from the ones that aren't doing this stuff and really nurture them and let them be the example of what happens when you actually follow these processes because people really do like the best people they crave and they don't want to just be told like figure it out because at the end
yeah.
of the day like if they were just going to figure it out then they'd run their own business.
Right. And that's the one thing I realized too is like I have a tendency to want to help people too much. Like I'm like I'm more like intrinsically motivated more than I am extrinsically. So like money doesn't really get me going. It's like I imagine like when I
Not
first
even
started,
280,000 in January.
I mean that gets me stoked. I'm like, yes. I mean, hey, listen, like I'm not gonna lie, that's exciting. But
Yeah.
the thing that really gets me motivated is like when I get to see a new sales rep make his first sale. Like today, we have a new sales rep, and he sold us. He went into a house, he knocked on door, went in there and sold it on the spot using the stuff that like kind of my own sales stuff that I've created, but then also he's using all the things like that Brad recommends, like the door hangers, the mailers, all that, you know. But like the big thing for me that I kind of have realized is like there's a really wise guy once wrote in a really old book that without vision the people perish. And um and I think when we're talking about the system that Brad's recommending, we're talking about like our businesses and we're interviewing new talent. Um, like we have to be able to cast vision. And like I put myself in the salespeople's shoes. Like who am I going to hitch my wagon to? There's 100 other companies. Like what? Like there's a company out by me who's like owned by some PE firm, and they probably have like I see their job sites going on all the time. I don't see any door knockers. I don't see anybody. I don't hear about any mailers coming through. And like we've actually made it a habit. If we see this company installing, let's go knock the neighborhood that they're installing in. Like, you know, it's a little bit, I mean, we're not ripping yard signs
No,
out. They
it's
don't put,
not. Yeah, that's
they're not putting yard signs
probably
out. Like
they're giving.
they're just putting 200, $300,000 in marketing every month into this machine they built, which is awesome. I mean, like I want to be there one day. You sure as hell have yard signs though. And but like, you know, like when I talk about the system and all that, it's really like people don't like salespeople when they go to interview for a job, like they're like they're expecting like, yeah, you go door knock or whatever. It's like there's no one's offering like a way to follow. Most people the most like insight salespeople get during an interview is, yeah, we're gonna teach you our system. It's like I was going nitty gritty, like, hey, listen, I might be like spoiling the secret here, but like this is what we do. So if you come on board, this is what you should expect. We're gonna do X, Y, Z. I showed them the checklist. Like I was like very like transparent about it. And yeah, so and I'll say this, like we have the sales guys that we have on our team right now are I think they're gonna be in there for the long haul. Like I
Yeah.
would not be surprised if the 4 guys that we have currently, I wouldn't be surprised if they're with me for the next 5 years, 5, 10 years. I mean, seriously, they're ride or die. They're all bought in. So sorry, I have a dog barking in the
No,
background.
it's okay. No, it's okay. And I want to like anyone watching this live, anyone watching this on the recording. Aaron is good at what he does. Aaron understands people. Aaron is ambitious. And that is a unique, I mean, not saying all of us, everyone on here, I hope has those qualities. I believe you do. But the point that I'm making is like Aaron's success is because of Aaron. And we had the opportunity to give him some structure and some paths that he could potentially follow and to tweak and make his own in some cases. And I think that's important. I mean, that's something that I really, really feel strongly about because it's not something that maybe I said to you. I bet I did actually, but I say it often is anyone who tells you that you should trust in them more than you should trust yourself, you should watch out for. So if in a sale, and you might not even notice this is happening, but if you look out for it and you feel icky when you're on a sales call, and you should think about this in even the way that you're selling, is if someone is out there telling you, you gotta believe in me, you gotta trust me. Hey, your roof's messed up. Like
Right.
I know it, you don't. Hey, you need a new roof. I know you don't know that you need a new roof, but you do, and like you just gotta trust me. Like that is the formula for, yeah, grossness. But it has to be real, right? Like if I, as I was talking to Aaron and talking through maybe getting him to work with us or not, if I believed that I was the only path to Aaron being successful. And Aaron, you just got to bet on me. He would have been like, well, that intuition that I talked about was not working very well. And the point that I'm really making is like, don't wait for someone else to be your hero
Yeah.
either. Like, that's really it. Like, you're it. You're the main character in your life. Recognize that you're not in others as well, but you're the main character in your life. And like in your business, like you and your ability to lead and your ability to build and your ability to implement, that is all, that's the stuff. Like that's the secret. That's why everyone is searching for this silver bullet, but that's the silver bullet. It's not something external, it's something internal. And I think that's so important because as like we've had the opportunity to watch you grow, build a team, have great months, implement great things, have a few times where you're like, Brad, this didn't work. I was in this neighborhood. It was a terrible day. But still having that fight in you to keep pushing. It's been such an opportunity for us. I'm grateful to be just a small part of your journey. And I also think that it's a testament to like what it really takes to go be successful is while you are good at asking for help, you're not looking for you're not looking for a life raft, you know?
Right. Yeah. There's a balance.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm capable, but we're like, I think the biggest thing that, like, as business owners, like my conundrum was energy and time in 2023, you know? And so like what I was really looking for that I've gotten from you guys has been definitely like I feel like the journey, like it's not a matter of if but when I was gonna get where like I want to preface too, like I appreciate the kind words and everything. I'm super competitive. I don't feel like I've achieved what I want to achieve yet,
Sure. I would be
um
disappointed if you said you had.
yeah. But I will say that like shoot, I lost my train of thought. It's not a matter of if but when I was going to reach this point specifically. I'm sure in a couple of years from now we'll have like it'll be a whole different conversation. But the time that it took me to get to from January to now, like where I've gotten to, that time has been compressed by, I mean, like years. I feel like at this point, like I feel like,
Would you say it's been fast forwarded?
yeah. 100% fast forward. No, yeah, for sure. 100%. It's been fast forwarded. I think with having being able to like have access to your brain and your Elizabeth's brain and your experience with other guys like me, because that's the unique thing that you guys have is you have other people in our situations that you get to see from other angles than we get to see, and like it's the order of operations. Like that's the question. It's like we all know we need to do door hangers. We all know we need to do direct mail and referrals. Like it's obvious, but in what order? Like in what order do we focus on all these things? And since you guys have a different perspective from us, you can kind of see the forest from the trees better than we can, and then that saves us. That saves me years. Like I really like. I think that like so for example, we've already I think we've already done like a million this year, and it's something like that. So we're getting close. I haven't looked at the P&Ls for this month yet, but I think we did. Like we have a $300,000 project that we're sorry 300 square project that we're doing right now. Like we'll be doing at the middle of this month, off of referrals and things like that. And I just think that like the time, like my time is best spent. Um, I'm trying to think how to explain it. Like, I feel like my time has been shortened to a point where now I'm like a little bit further ahead than I definitely would have been if I didn't meet you guys, you know? So I'm very thankful. And it's not like you guys gave me some magic bullet or anything like that. You just helped me sort it all out, you know, like just put it out onto a timeline and then just be like, okay, next step, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you know? So yeah.
Well, I appreciate, I'm it's like humbled to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I think you would, like you said, like I have no doubts that you would have gotten to where you are. And I'm grateful that we've had the opportunity to speed some things up and kind of share some of what we've learned and share some of what the struggles that we've had or witnessed other people have to kind of help
Right.
skip a few steps.
I promise Brad's not paying me anything to give him an
No,
endorsement. I
uh,
don't mean like it's not like I'm not trying
he's
to like
like,
just
go
totally
on
endorse, but
this
like
way off,
I'm
but
just being honest though. Like it's been helpful. It's been really helpful.
I
But
I appreciate that.
one
Go ahead.
thing, not in the spotlight, that's okay. One thing that I think it was the conversation we had in January with you, Aaron, kind of talking through, and we were talking about like your past sales experience and the toy Porsche. Was it a Porsche?
Oh yeah, I loved that.
Oh, it was a Mustang. Yeah.
Okay. And just talking about how you were saying, like, you had the money, but it wasn't even like, it didn't really matter to you anymore. And talking
Yes.
like just like the leadership side of it and talking about your mentor, was it Bob? Like, and just
Yeah.
how like my dad's name's Bob, that's fine. But you had like that, mentor in your life and like the way that you've set things up, that you get to be that mentor now. And I think that's one of my like favorite parts of your story, but also like entrepreneurship in general, because a lot of times we're stuck in like the crappy stuff and we don't get to do the things that we love or the things that like bring us joy. And like you said, it's not necessarily the money, or the money helps and that's exciting, but like to get to invest in those four guys that are going to stay with you, and then, continuously get to do the things that you enjoy doing and are proud of, is I think is like something that I think has been really fun to see. So
Yeah. And just like some context, like I had like, yeah, thanks for reminding me. That's a good
That was,
me
I
and Brad
think, the
will get on
moment.
like Brad
That
and
was
I
the
will get on a
moment
call and
Elizabeth
I will
and I like fell for
okay,
you.
sorry. I was gonna say Brad and I get on a call and we'll talk about stuff forever. So that's that like so like part of my story is like I was a sales guy and my wife was selling blood to pay the electric bills, and I had a mentor who really like impacted my life, and I kind of like you guys really helped me kind of like pinpoint some of my like I was having a hard time with goal setting, and you guys really like helped me pinpoint some of those things that kind of got me motivated to like and focused on. So like yeah, I have a financial goal. I'm definitely working towards it, but helping like I wrote a commission check today for $7,500.
Nice.
And that got me fired up.
Yeah.
And like without giving too much information, like the guy's going through it really bad right now. Like he's in the middle of divorce. It's really rough, and he needed money. He's been working his ass off, grinding, like knocking on doors, everything you think of. And today I wrote him a check for $7,500, and it just like unlocked like his whole life now. He's like, I
That's
can
good.
I can pay for my deposit on my new apartment and all this. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Like I'm like that gets me fired up. So and like that was I think that was one of the most valuable sessions I've had with you guys, was like helping me kind of I don't know, figure out what like, kind of makes me tick a little bit, because but and like one of my goals when I was first starting sales is I wanted to buy a Mustang so bad. My wife gave me like a little Mustang car as like a birthday gift or something like that. We were so poor, like Hot Wheels all I could get for my birthday. And like I found it cleaning out my office the other day. I was like, man, I never bought that, but yeah, I don't really want to. Like, did I not achieve that goal? Those kind of some of the questions I was asking. And what we kind of realized as a team, like as like me and Elizabeth and Brad were talking about, was like things have changed, and um that's okay, and like what kind of like what's the key behind some motivation. So besides just all of the process and all that stuff, it was also it's been good to talk about kind of like the motivation and like the psychology behind some of the stuff that we're doing, so yeah.
That was, I think that was the conversation where I accidentally said in our group chat, I was like, I love Aaron, like right after the call. And then we're like, oh, okay, well, good thing it was, I love Aaron.
Yeah,
But
you're
that's
right.
you, and that's the thing is like, I think there's the intangibles that are just so important. I mean, we obviously can try to help people figure out what their goals are and what's motivating them, but the ability to get there, like I said a second ago, is like the having vision is unique, and your ability to have vision and make sure you kind of understood what you were really optimizing for was important. All right, final question, and then, well, actually I have two more, but this last one, you kind of gave us a little bit of a teaser, but tell us a little bit about what things look like now that the base, like the problem that you came to us is solved, or
Gotcha. Like from when in October when I called you guys, what's changed since then, kind of thing.
yeah, day to
Um,
day.
yeah, day to day. I mean, I put like this.
Schedule.
I feel really comfortable with like you guys didn't plan any of this out for me, but I took kind of what you did and implemented it to like a structure that works for me and my team. It's all basic stuff, like it's nothing like revolutionary.
No,
I just
no, you know.
just helpful, to like have somebody outside of your world like help you organize it. And so yeah, so like right now I'd say structure wise our sales guys have a plan. And our company has certain directives that we have to do. So like before a job, we're door knocking. We're doing like not door knocking, we're hanging flyers, like little things that seem like tedious or like non-important. We really focus on those things. So like just basic infrastructure has been helpful. We did not have that beforehand. We didn't at all. And then I'll say as well, like when we don't have any appointments to run, the guys know what to do. So like I think that's really the base, like the biggest thing for us is we just have some sort of map. So
there's always, it's clear like what are the daily activities in a few different scenarios, when you have a bunch of builds, when you have a bunch of appointments, or when you don't have any. And so I'm glad for
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Final question is, what would you say to someone who is stuck or struggling within the program? And then another question after that, and you can kind of answer them at the same time, is what would you say to someone who's considering joining the program or hiring us?
Yeah. So I was probably stuck in the wintertime. I felt a little bit stuck. I think communicating that feeling to them is probably the best thing you can do. Just being like, hey, I feel like I'm missing a piece here. Like I don't think I yelled at you guys or anything. I just was like, hey, like I'm struggling with these things. Like, can you just help me sort it out?
Yeah.
And I feel like that was really helpful.
Yeah.
But then also like, I think, I don't know what you guys are advertising the program as right now, but when I joined, it was like a 90-day thing. And I think, it's like the middle of the year now. So like this stuff takes time, like there's a little bit of patience that you have to have. Like you're not going to be able to build a really like sound infrastructure in 90 days, and if the program's still 90 days, I'm sorry, but you just won't be able to.
No,
Okay,
it's
cool.
not.
Cool. Yeah, it's just not possible. Like
Yeah.
if you're already doing some of the things, maybe it is, but yeah. And then the last thing I'd say to that is like more to like the people who might be debating it. Number one, like I don't know what you guys are charging nowadays, but even if it's less than what I paid,
Subject to change. So
or more or whatever, I'm not gonna say what number
I will just, it's recorded.
Yeah.
I want this to last, so I'm not gonna say.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, whatever you're paying it's it's always worth investing into yourself. Like it's worth investing in the business. And like it might not be like quantifiable like value, but I think that if you're going to join the program, just realize that the stuff that they're teaching you is things that you're going to use the rest of your time in business. So it's worth it. Just invest and just do it. Like people pay more money to go to Tony Robbins conferences for 2 hours of entertainment. Might as well just invest into a group of people like you. So like one of my things I like is being able to hear some of the other roofing company owners talk about stuff. And
Yeah.
like we don't like there's not a lot of environments that maybe on like some Facebook groups, but there's not a lot of environments where you get to hear like where people really are at. And I think that's like a unique perspective that I've gotten to hear is like some of the talks like people are talking about some of their problems. I'm like, oh, I can relate with that, you know. So you're just not going to get that from like some random Facebook group that's free. Like people are going to puff themselves up. So this is a good place for like I think everybody's kind of coming, like everybody who's part of the group that I've kind of seen seems like they're all like gonna like want to learn and want to grow. It's a good place to get that from. So
yeah. Well,
yeah.
I'm glad. I mean, it only is as powerful as the people who are inside.
Yeah.
Elizabeth and I can only do so much other than try to moderate. But you and some of the other people here and some of the other people who join occasionally are the reason that it is what it is. So I just want to end
It's
this.
worth it. It's totally worth it. Seriously. Like it's a what? Sell an extra roof. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whatever it is. I don't know. Like I don't know I don't even know what it costs nowadays, but just it's even if it was $20,000 or $30,000 or whatever, $100,000, like maybe not 100,000, but but it was some amount that was like crazy. Like just sell a couple more roofs. Like the things that they're teaching you is like it's even just good for salespeople. Like it's a universal tool. So and when it's not coming from you, like I put on some of your videos for my guys, and I could say it the same exact way Brad says it, but because it's Brad and not me, their boss saying it, it just means way more. So like it's pretty flexible too. It's like you can use it however you really need to. It's good.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, Aaron. You've been you really have been a blessing for Elizabeth and I, and we appreciate you being in the program, all the feedback, the times you have, hey, I'm kind of confused on this part, like those moments even have given us a lot of clarity on how to make things better for everyone. And we really do appreciate you, and you've been a lot of fun to work with, and it's extra fun watching you go out and win. So
thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. Cool.
All righty, guys. Thank you. If anyone has any questions, we're kind of at our time, but reach out to me and we can.
If anyone has any questions, reach out to Brad and you have my permission to give my information out. So
there we go.
If you guys want to just like have a friend in the roofing industry you can talk to, then hit me up. So
he's a great friend at that. So thank you guys. And thank you, Aaron. Very honored to just be a part of your journey. See ya.
Peace.